Now let us take up the chemical properties of carbon family, oxidation states and trends in chemical reactivity. Okay, so if you see group 14 elements, it has got 4 electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, its valence shell electronic configuration is ns2 np2. So how many electrons? 4 electrons in the outermost shell. So common oxidation state exhibited by these elements can be either +2 or it can be +4 or +2. Okay, now carbon also exhibits negative oxidation state. Now carbon can take up 4 electrons and can form carbide ion. Okay, but this process, whatever is there, is said to be requiring large amount of energy. Okay, and sum of first 4 ionization energy is very high, and compounds in +4 oxidation state are generally covalent in nature. Next point what we have is, in heavier members, that is down the group when you go, the tendency to show +2 oxidation state increases in the sequence of this. Okay, in the sense when you move down the group in carbon family, what happens? +2 oxidation state will tend to increase. Now why this is so? Because when you move down the group, there comes D and F electrons. So D and F electrons will show an inert pair effect. So inert pair effect becomes more prominent. So when inert pair effect becomes more prominent, what happens? Stability of +4 oxidation state decreases, while that of +2 oxidation state will increase from germanium to lead. That's the reason why the order is in this way: germanium, tin and lead. This is the order in which the stability of +2 oxidation state is going on. Yes, this is because of inert pair effect. Okay, so I can tell that whenever you move down the group, the tendency of the elements to form covalent compound decreases, whereas the tendency to form ionic compound increases. Okay, so compounds of group 14 elements which show oxidation state of +4 are expected to be covalent in nature. Okay, if it compound is there in +4 oxidation state, I can say it is covalent because of their extremely small size, high charge, whereas compounds which show an oxidation state of +2 are expected to be ionic because of large size and small charge. Okay, for example, if I give SnCl2, SnCl2 is ionic, where Sn is having an oxidation state of +2, whereas in SnCl4 it is covalent because oxidation state of tin is +4 there. Okay, so compounds which shows an oxidation state of +4 will be covalent. If it shows an oxidation state of +2, it will be ionic. Okay, now germanium forms stable compounds in +4 state and only few compounds in +2 state. Carbon and silicon mostly shows +4 oxidation state. Tin, if you take it, forms compound in both oxidation state. That's the example what I've given, SnCl2 and SnCl4, where tin is having both 2+ oxidation state as well as 4+ oxidation state. Okay, so Sn in +2 oxidation state is, if it is there, it's a good reducing agent. Okay, now lead compounds in +2 oxidation state are stable, and +4 oxidation state, if they are there, they are acting as a strong oxidizing agent. Okay, now in tetravalent state, the number of electrons around the central atom in a molecule is 8. For example, if you take carbon CCl4, so whatever the number of electrons are there around the carbon will be 8. And although carbon cannot exceed its covalence more than 4, other elements of the group can do so. Carbon, okay, because of absence of d electrons, cannot expand its covalency more than 4. Whereas silicon, germanium, tin and lead, if you take, due to availability of vacant d orbital, it will show covalency greater than 4, and hence it can form pentacoordinated and hexacoordinated complex. Okay, and also they are capable to undergo hydrolysis. Now carbon is not exceeding covalency more than 4. Other elements can exceed more than 4 because of presence of d and f orbitals. Okay, and also in these complexes, whatever are there, the hybridization of the central atom is sp3d2 hybridized. So hybridization is sp3d2 hybridized. Next we'll see reactivity towards oxidation. So whenever oxidation group 14 elements are heated in oxidation, they form two kinds of oxides. One is monoxide of the form MO and dioxide of the form MO2. Okay, now silicon oxide, if you take, it is existing only at high temperature. Okay, and the oxides in higher oxidation states of elements are generally more acidic than those in lower oxidation state. So if you have an oxide of the element in higher oxidation state, it will be more acidic compared to that in the lower acidic oxidation state. And when we move down the group, okay, as we move down the group, the acidic character decreases. Okay, so among dioxides, if you take carbon dioxide, silicon dioxide, germanium dioxide, these three are acidic. Okay, tin dioxide and lead dioxide, they are said to be amphoteric. Okay, if you consider monoxides, carbon monoxide is neutral, germanium oxide is acidic, tin oxide and lead oxide are amphoteric in nature. If you take reactivity towards water, carbon, silicon and germanium, they are not affected by water, whereas tin will decompose steam to form tin dioxide and hydrogen gas according to the reaction Sn plus 2H2O giving rise to SnO2 plus 2H2. Okay, lead, if you take, it is not affected by water. Why? Because it will form a protective film of lead oxide on its surface. That's the reason why it is not affected by water. Okay, next, if you take reactivity towards halogens, so whatever elements of group 14 are there, when they react with the halogens, they form two kinds of halides, MX2 and MX4. Okay, now except carbon, all other members will react directly with halogen under suitable condition to make halides. So carbon is not going to directly react with the halogens, right? And most of the tetrahalides of the form MX4 are covalent in nature, and the central atom in these halides will undergo sp3 hybridization and the molecule is tetrahedral in shape, except that of SnF4 and PbF4, which are said to be ionic. Okay, so most of the tetrahalides are covalent in nature, and whatever the central atom is there, it is sp3 hybridized and it will occupy, or it will give a shape of tetrahedral. The thermal stability of these halides decreases with increasing atomic number or the size of the halogen atom. Okay, whatever the thermal stability of these halides is there, if you, with increasing atomic number or increasing the size of the halogen atom, the stability will tend to decrease. For example, PbCl4 is stable, PbBr4 is unstable, while PbI4 is said to be, it is not existing itself. Okay, this is because PbI bond, whatever is there initially formed during the reaction, does not release enough energy to unpair the 6s2 electrons and excite one of them to the 6p orbital to have 4 unpaired electrons around the lead atom. So just remember that stability, thermal stability of the halides, if you go, will tend to decrease with increasing atomic number or with increasing size of the halogen atom. Okay, now dihalides, if you take, all the elements except carbon and silicon will form dihalides. Okay, and the stability of the dihalide will increase down the group from germanium to lead. So whenever you move down the group, stability of the dihalides will tend to increase. For example, GeX4 is more stable than GeX2, whereas PbX2 is more stable than PbX4. Okay, the tetrachloride of carbon, that is CCl4, is not hydrolyzed by water, whereas tetrachloride of all the remaining elements are easily hydrolyzed by water. Now, what's the reason for that is the central atom can accommodate the lone pair of electrons easily from oxygen atom of water molecule in d orbital. Okay, so for example, we can understand this with an example here. So silicon tetrachloride I'll take. Okay, so you have a water. Okay, so silicon is the central atom here. Okay, so this silicon can accommodate the lone pair of electrons from the water, okay, in the d orbital. Okay, so you are getting salicylic acid. Okay, so SiCl4 undergoes hydrolysis by accepting lone pair of electrons from water molecule in d orbitals of silicon, finally leading to the formation of SiOH 4 times. Okay, whereas CCl4, if you take, is not hydrolyzed by water. Why? Because In case of CCl4, instead of silicon, what will be there? Carbon will be there. Now carbon doesn't have d orbitals to accept the lone pair of electrons from oxygen of the water molecule. So that's the reason why it is not hydrolyzed by water. Whereas silicon tetrachloride can be hydrolyzed because silicon has got d orbital which can accommodate these electrons from the oxygen of water molecule. That's the reason why tetrachloride of carbon that is CCl4 will not be hydrolyzed by water, whereas tetrachloride of all the remaining elements can be easily hydrolyzed by water. Important trends and anomalous behavior of carbon. So carbon, being the first member of group 14, will also show anomalous behavior. Anomalous behavior means different in properties from rest of the members. Now why it is showing anomalous behavior? Because of small atomic size, high electronegativity, higher ionization enthalpy, and absence of d orbitals. So these are the reason why it is showing anomalous behavior from rest of the elements. So first, if you take the anomalous property, in carbon only s and p orbitals are available for bonding, correct, and therefore can accommodate only 4 pair of electrons around it, right? This limits the covalency to 4, whereas other members can expand their covalency to 6 due to presence of d orbitals. So carbon covalency is only 4, whereas other members can expand their covalency to 6 because of presence of d orbitals. Okay, next, due to small size and high electronegativity, carbon has a strong tendency to form p-pi multiple bonds either with itself or with other atoms like oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. Okay, so small size, carbon has got small size, high electronegativity, and has got a tendency to form p-pi bonding. Now what is this p-pi multiple bond? Now if there is a bonding between two atoms, okay, so whenever there is a bonding between two atoms where one atom is having one vacant orbital and another is having lone pair of electrons, okay, so we are considering a bonding between two atoms. One atom is having lone pair, another atom is having vacant orbital, okay. So this lone pair of electrons, whatever is having, then if this electron pair is donated to the vacant orbital, it is called p-pi or p-pi d-pi bonding, depending on the orbital to which electron pairs is donated and from where electron pair is donated. If the electron pair is donated from p to the other p orbital, then we call p-pi bonding. If one donation is from p and acceptance to d, p-pi d-pi bonding we call, okay. So carbon has got a capacity to form p-pi multiple bonds like C double bond C, C triple bond C, C double bond O, C double bond S, C triple bond N, whereas remaining elements do not form p-pi bonds. So carbon can form p-pi bonds, other elements will not form p-pi. One more important anomalous property is catenation. So carbon has got a unique property to link with one another through covalent bonds to form either a long chain or a ring form. This is called as catenation. So catenation we also call as self-linking property. Why? Because of small size, and whatever the carbon-carbon bonds are formed, they are said to be very strong. Okay, down the group if you go, what happens? Atomic size increases, electronegativity decreases, and tendency to show catenation will also decrease. So order of catenation is carbon, silicon, germanium, tin. Lead will not show catenation. Okay, self-linking property. And due to the property of catenation and p-pi bond formation, carbon shows allotropic forms. So these are some of the anomalous properties of carbon.